Good morning, chickadoes and chickadees. Today is Monday, December 7th, and this is the reading of our text exam short story, The Stolen Party. All right, so a little background to the stolen party. When we're talking about time period, we're looking at anything that's kind of present time. When we talk about time period, we're talking about it's just like really in the past, like historical 1800s, 1700s, even 1900s. Or we set it in a futuristic society, like where it's like the coulda, woulda, what ifs, or are we currently present time? So we take a look and understanding what the short story is about, and you kind of Google it. There's a lot of interpretations of where the story takes place, time period wise, but it's at least in the 1920s to present time. But we're looking maybe so of the 20th century, the 1900s, just because of the context of it, just looking at the elements, looking at the gifts that are given out in the story that you'll see out in just a little bit. But our focus is on a little girl and a birthday party that she wants to attend, but was really fighting this mentality that her mom is portraying. And it's kind of was up to this little girl to decide, is that a true perception of her in society in this kind of little small little social class bubble that we get to see in this text. So as we take a look at the story, we're looking at a little girl's desire to go to a party, and this is present time. This could be 1920 or as early as 1920s because of the reference of the toys, or anytime in between that, but present time, recency, within the last 100 years at least. All right, here we go. The Stolen Party. Cancel that. The Stolen Party by Liliana Hecker. As soon as she arrived, she went straight to the kitchen to see if the monkey was there. It was. What a relief. She wouldn't have liked to admit that her mother had been right. Monkeys at a birthday? Her mother had sneered. Get away with you. Believe in any nonsense you're told. She was cross, but not because of the monkey, the girl thought. It's just because of the party. I don't like you going, she told her. It's a rich people's party. Rich people go to heaven too, said the girl, who studied religion at school. I'm going because I've been invited. And I've been invited because Luciana is my friend. So there. Ah, yes, your friend, her mother grumbled. She paused. Listen, Rajara, she said at last. That one's not your friend. You know what you are to them. The maid's daughter. That's what. Rajara blinked hard. She wasn't gonna cry. Then she yelled, Shut up! You don't know anything about being friends. Every afternoon, she used to go to Luciana's house, and they would both finish their homework while Rajara's mother did the cleaning. They had their tea in the kitchen, and they told each other secrets. Rajara loved everything in the big house, and she also loved the people who lived there. I'm going because it will be the most lovely party in the whole world. Luciana told me it would. There'd be a magician, and he'd bring a monkey and everything. The mother swung around to take a good look at her child and pompously put her hands on her hips. Monkeys at a birthday, she said. Get away with you, believing any nonsense you're told. Rajara was deeply offended. She thought it unfair of her mother to accuse other people of being liars simply because they were rich. Rajara wanted to be rich, of course. If one day she imagined to live in a beautiful palace, would her mother stop loving her? She felt very sad. She wanted to go to that party more than anything else in the world. I'll die if I don't go, she whispered, almost without moving her lips. And she wasn't sure whether she had been heard, but on the morning of the party, she discovered that her mother had starched her Christmas dress. And in the afternoon, after washing her hair, her mother rinsed it in apple vinegar so that it would be all nice and shiny. Before going out, Ojara admired herself in the mirror, while her white dress and glossy hair, and thought she looked terribly pretty. I'm gonna pause right there. Just to kind of give you the idea of starched her Christmas dress, it's a way of saying Mama ironed her dress. She got her best dress, and usually people like to dress their fanciest on Christmas for special occasions, going out to religious services or family gatherings. And Mama had picked the best dress, for her daughter to go to in this rich person's birthday party and ironed it so it looked brand new and beautiful. So Mama actually helped her, even though Mommy didn't want her to go to this birthday party, all because they were rich, and more importantly, Mama worked for that family. Senora Inez also seemed to notice. As soon as she saw her, she said, "How lovely you look today, Rajara." Rajara gave her starched skirt a slight toss with her hands and walked into the party with a firm step. She said hello to Luciana and asked about the monkey. Luciana put on a secretive look and whispered into Rajara's ear, "He's in the kitchen, but don't tell anyone because it's a surprise." Rajara wanted to make sure. Carefully, she entered the kitchen and there she saw it, deep in thought inside its cage. It looked so funny that the girl stood there for a while, watching it, and later on, every so often, she would slip out of the party unseen and go and admire it. Rajara was the only one allowed into the kitchen. Senora Inez had said, "You, yes, but not the others. They're much too boisterous, and they might break something." Rajara had never broken anything. She even managed a jug of orange juice, carrying it from the kitchen into the dining room. She held it carefully and didn't spill a single drop. And Senora Inez had said, "Are you sure you can manage a jug as big as that?" Of course she could manage. She wasn't a butterfingers like the others, like the blonde girl with the bow in her hair. As soon as she saw Rajara, the girl with the bow had said, "And you? Who are you?" "I'm a friend of Rajara, or Luciana," said Rajara. "No," said the girl with the bow. "You are not a friend of Luciana because I'm her cousin and I know all her friends, and I don't know you." "So what?" said Rajara. "I come here every afternoon with my mother and we do our homework together." "You and your mother do your homework together?" asked the girl, laughing. "I and Luciana do our homework together," said Rajara very seriously. The girl with the bow shrugged her shoulders. "That's not being friends," she said. "Do you go to school together?" "No." "So where do you know her from?" said the girl, getting impatient. Rajara remembered her mother's words perfectly. She took a deep breath. "I'm the daughter of the employee," she said. Her mother had said very clearly, "If someone asks you, you say you're the daughter of the employee. That's all." So also told her to add, "and proud of it." But Rajara thought that never in her life she would dare say something of the sort. "What employee?" said the girl with the bow. "Employee in a shop?" "No," said Rajara angrily. "My mother doesn't sell anything in the shop, so there." "So how come she's an employee?" said the girl with the bow. Just then, Senora Inez arrived saying, "Shh, shh," and asked Rajara if she wouldn't mind helping serve out the hot dogs, as she knew the house so much better than the others. "See," said Rajara to the girl with the bow, and when no one was looking, she kicked her in the shin. "Roo!" Apart from the girl with the bow, all the others were delightful. The one she liked best was Luciana, with her golden birthday crown, and then the boys. Rajara won the sack race, and no one managed to catch her when they played tag. When they split into two teams to play charades, all the boys wanted her for their side. Rajara felt she had never been so happy in all of her life. But the best was still to come. The best came after Luciana blew out the candles. First the cake. Senora Inez had asked her to help pass the cake around, and Rajara had enjoyed the task immensely because everyone called out to her, shouting, "Me, me!" Rajara remembered the story in which there was a queen who had the power of life or death over her subjects. She had always loved that, having the power of life or death. To Luciana and the boys, she gave the largest pieces, and to the girl with the bow, she gave a slice so thin one could see through it. After the cake came the magician, tall and bony with a fine red cape. A true magician. He could untie handkerchiefs by blowing on them and make a chain with links that had no openings. He could guess what cards were pulled out from a pack, and the monkey was his assistant. He called the monkey partner. "Let's see here, partner," he would say. "Turn over a card." And "Don't run away, partner. Time to work now." The final trick was wonderful. One of the children had to hold the monkey in his arms, and the magician said he would make him disappear. What? The boy, they all shouted. No, the monkey, shouted back the magician. Ojara thought that this was truly the most amusing party in the whole world. When her mother came to pick her up, Ojara realized she was no longer angry with her. All along, she had imagined she would say to her, "See, that monkey wasn't a lie." But instead, she was so happy she told her mother all about the wonderful magician. And now they both stood there in the entrance, because a moment ago, Senora Inez, smiling, had said, "Please wait here a second." Her mother suddenly seemed worried. "What is it?" asked Rashara. She asked Rashara. "What is what?" said Rashara. "It's nothing. She just wants to get the presents for those who are leaving. See?" She pointed at the fat boy and at a girl with pigtails who were also waiting there next to their mothers. She had explained about the presents. She knew because she had been watching those who left before her. When one of the girls was about to leave, Senora Inez would give her a bracelet. When a boy left, Senora Inez gave him a yo-yo. Rojara preferred the yo-yo because it sparkled, but she didn't mention that to her mother. Her mother might have said, "So why don't you ask her one, you blockhead?" That's what her mother was like. Rojara didn't feel like explaining that she'd be horribly ashamed to be the odd one out. Instead, she said, "I was the best behaved at the party." And she said no more because Senora Inez came out into the hall with two bags, one pink and one blue. First, she went up to the fat boy and gave him a yo-yo out of the blue bag, and the fat boy left with his mother. Then she went up to the girl and gave her a bracelet out of the pink bag, and the girl with the pigtails left as well. Finally, she came up to Rajara and her mother. She had a big smile on her face, and Rajara liked that. Senora Inez looked down at her, then looked up at her mother, and then said something that made Rajara proud. "What a marvelous daughter you have, Hermina." For an instant, Rajara thought she would give her two presents, the bracelet and the yo-yo. Senora Inez bent down as if to look for something. Rajara had leaned forward, stretching out her arm, but she never completed the movement. Senora Inez didn't look in the pink bag, nor did she look in the blue bag. Instead, she rummaged in her purse. In her hand appeared two bills. "You really and truly earned this," she said, handling them over. "Thank you for all your help, my pet." Urjara felt her arms stiffen, stick close to her body, and she noticed her mother's hand on her shoulder. Instinctively, she pressed herself against her mother's body. That was all, except her eyes. Rojara's eyes had a cold, clear look that fixed itself on Senora Inez's face. Senora Inez, motionless, stood there with her hand outstretched, as she didn't dare draw it back, as if the slightest change might shatter an infinitely delicate balance. Wow. Okay, so I hope you see that interaction right there. The mom paid her. Luciana's mom giving out gifts to all the little boys and girls, the party favors, the goodie bags, and when it came to Rajara's turn, she got paid. You would think that would be a good thing, that she got money while the little kids got little trinkets and toys. But I really hope you see the complexity beyond this. I really hope you see how this is more of an insult and injury to Rojara's pride and ego and just memory of this event versus the fact of her getting paid. I hope you see the parallel between Rojara and the monkey. So go back, take some notes, kind of remember who's Rajara, who's Luciana, who is what is going on. Take a look at the significance of that monkey and in comparison to Rajara and think, what is the lesson? What is our writer, our author, trying to teach us in this story? Because dang, that that shifted real quick at the end for a baby girl. All right, if you have any questions, you can do some research or definitely jump on the Zoom call with me and we'll talk about it. This is a good story. I'm excited about it. I love y'all. Have a good one. Make good choices.